Verdant hills, and a light Caribbean breeze caressing our faces this morning. This is Jamaica, the land we all love. The Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Mr. Wickham McNeil, representing the Leader of the Opposition this morning, the Honorable Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism, Honorable Favour Williams, Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Senator the Honorable Obin Hill, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, the Honorable Delroy Chuck, KC, Minister of Justice, the Honorable Darrell Vaz, Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport. We also want to recognize Senator Delano Seavright, State Minister in the Ministry of Tourism. His Worship, the Mayor, Colin Gager, is also with us. And we have our two members of Parliament from North and South Trelawny, Ms. Tova Hamilton and Mrs. Marissa Dalrymple Philibert. Allow me to also acknowledge Mr. Peter Sharrington, Chairman of Harmony Cove Limited, Mr. Jeffrey Hall, Chairman of Harmonization Limited, Mr. Christopher Anand, CEO and Managing Partner of Nexus Luxury Collection, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen all, a very good morning to you, and welcome to the official ribbon-cutting ceremony for Harmony Cove, a defining moment for Jamaica's tourism, investment, and national development. My name is Marlene Stevenson Daly, and it is my honor to serve as your Master of Ceremonies this morning as we unveil one of the most visionary development projects in the Caribbean. To begin our program, we invite you to be upstanding for the playing of Jamaica's national anthem. Remain upstanding, please. Thank you so much. Please remain standing as we invite Michelle Grant to lead us in prayer. Ms. Grant.
This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Lord, this morning we come before you with grateful hearts as we gather for this groundbreaking ceremony. We acknowledge that you, our Lord, you are the creator of all things, and you alone have all the power. Lord, we humbly ask of your presence to remain with us throughout this ceremony and through the construction. We ask you for guidance. And we thank you that you have provided for us to be so far. Lord, we ask for your wisdom. We ask that every decision will be entrusted in your hands, knowing that you have a plan and purpose for this project. Lord, we pray for safety and protection for all those who will work on site. We pray for the surrounding communities. May this project, Lord, be a symbol of growth and excellence and harmony. Lord, as we commit this project to you, Lord, we lift up your name and ask that your Spirit fill this space. Be with us all, and we thank you for hearing and answering our prayers. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
You may be seated. Thank you so much, Ms. Grant. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome every one of you to this momentous occasion, the official ribbon-cutting ceremony for Harmony Cove. On behalf of the organizers and all our partners, thank you so much for being here with us today. We are gathered on truly historic ground. Harmony Cove is not just a development, it is a statement about Jamaica's resilience and readiness to lead in luxury tourism, about our ability to attract world-class investment, and most importantly, about our commitment to building a future that includes our people at every level. This morning is about a vision, years in the making, now brought to life through collaboration between the government, private sector, and global partners. What will rise here in the years to come will reflect the very best of Jamaica, our culture, our natural beauty, and our potential. Once again, thank you so much for your presence and for being part of this exciting step forward. Now let's get into the meat of the matter. We invite to the podium Mr. Peter Charrington, Chairman of Harmony Cove Limited and Senior Partner at Nexus Luxury Collection, to offer opening remarks. Please put your hands together and make him welcome.
Mr. Prime Minister, happy birthday. Mr. McNeill, representing the Leader of the Opposition, Cabinet Ministers, partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The protocols having been established already, I would like to wish you all a very good morning and big up in Jamaica. Please permit me to extend a special welcome to the residents of the wonderful parish of Trelawny, where our transformational project will call home. I'm always fascinated by Jamaican phrases, and whilst I continue to improve my patois, today I will use the phrase, time long but sweet, as this project truly represents the spirit of Jamaica. We lickle, but we talawa, I believe, Prime Minister. Harmony Cove has been 20 years in the making. Today is not just a milestone moment, but a movement towards transformation, supported by, I like to think, the letter P. People, partnership, progress, and as Prime Minister Holness puts it, strategic productivity leading to prosperity for all of Jamaica. It is an honor and a privilege, therefore, to represent Harmony Cove as chairman at this pivotal moment in our journey. I want to thank our partners, Tavistock, Nexus Luxury Collection, the National Housing Trust, and the Development Bank of Jamaica, along with the Government of Jamaica, for sticking with this project. Today's ribbon-cutting ceremony signifies hope being unfurled across the beautiful coast of Trelawny, encapsulating the possibility of harnessing our greatest ambitions and turning them into reality. This will be a transformational chapter in the history of this parish and the future of Jamaica's tourism and economic landscape. Nexus has worked in some of the world's most dynamic environments, shaping luxury destinations, master plan communities, and innovative new concepts. But few opportunities have stirred our collective excitement and long-term vision as deeply as Harmony Cove. We will responsibly and with people and the environment center stage transform this national asset. Jamaica is a brand known around the world for its resilience and cultural creativity, synonymous with music, movement, and rhythm. We look forward to bringing all of those wonderful characteristics to life at Harmony Cove. This project represents a major leap forward for Jamaica's tourism sector. This development will introduce a world-class, master-planned integrated resort that will compete with the best of the Caribbean and beyond. But perhaps the most exciting element of all is that this project will elevate thousands of Jamaican lives, providing sustainable livelihoods to many Jamaicans, especially the youth, skilled tradespeople, the local community, through construction, training, operations, entrepreneurship, sustainable agriculture, and cultural showcases. The Jamaican people remain at the heart of our vision for Harmony Cove. Thank you. I want to take a moment to express our thanks to the government of Jamaica for creating an enabling environment where visionary projects like this can take off. I'd like to express my thanks to Jeffrey Hall, Chairman of Harmonization, and all the team at Harmonization for their leadership and constant support. To our international and local partners, many of whom are here today, who saw not just the land and how beautiful it is, but the limitless potential that this project holds. To the planning authorities for their guidance and professionalism and their continued support. And to the residents, community leaders, and the wider Jamaican family who have welcomed us and will partner with us. Thank you for opening your hearts, your minds, and your hands to this partnership. Your iconic stars, ambassadors, and heroes have always encouraged you to dream big. No bigger than Usain Bolt, a son of the Trelawny soil, who says it best when he says, "See no limits." From Marcus Garvey to Miss Lou, from Bob Marley to Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price, to Fraser McConnell, who is here today, the Jamaican people have always shown the world that greatness lives here. This project is a continuation of that tradition, and by gathering here today, we are saying to the world that Jamaica is open for business, the future is bright, and we see no limits to what we can do together. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Sharrington. I believe it's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And this is definitely an opportunity to go together, not leaving the people behind, all of the partners, and making sure that there is progress for our people. At this time, we invite Mr. Jeffrey Hall, Chairman of Harmonization Limited and CEO of Pan Jamaica Group, to bring greetings on behalf of the Jamaican Investment Partnership behind this transformative project. Mr. Hall, put your hands together for him.
Most Honorable Prime Minister Andrew Holness, dignitaries present, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Prime Minister, I think you will agree with me that this is a beautiful day and a beautiful place to celebrate a national milestone, but also a personal milestone. So if you permit me, I'll start with the personal milestone. And in the words of another busy gentleman, happy birthday, my friend. One more year upon them. You know, I'm told that personal development, Prime Minister, involves a hierarchy of needs. So we have lower level needs like food and water and shelter and security. And we have to fulfill these needs before we can seriously tackle higher level needs like creative expression, respect of others, and ultimately self-actualization. Today, national development feels a little bit like what we have been told about personal development. One by one, Jamaica seems to be tackling its basic needs. I'm sure you've heard the numbers. Unemployment, 3.7%. And tomorrow is 3.2. 3.3. Record low. Poverty coming down. Crime coming down. Debt, Minister Williams, coming down. Inflation on target. Minister Bartlett. Tourism arrivals picking up. 4.5 million target. Airline seats picking up. Bus seats up. Hotel rooms up. Foreign reserves. Growth coming back. Prime Minister, I have to tell you, those are the basics. And it is in this context that I have to salute the partners that are gathered here today. Nexus Luxury Collection, representing the Tavistock Group, and our very own government of Jamaica. These partners have each said in their own way that Jamaica is clearly tackling its basic needs. And by their presence here today, they've each said that it is now time. Now is the time to tackle together a higher level vision for this country. Nexus Luxury Collection, and in particular, Christopher Nan, Peter Charrington, Jamie Winner, they've clearly brought their uncompromising standards of luxury and elegance and their commitment to operating at the cutting edge of eco-friendliness. They brought a network of connections with a track record of global excellence. They brought capital to the discourse. And above all, an enduring belief in the possibilities of this destination. Chris, I don't want to take any respect or recognition away from Tavistock, but I want you to all understand that Tavistock and Nexus are in the business of lifting their sites above basic needs. They're in the business of seeing all the richness of possibility. This is what they do every day. This is why they exist. This is why they're here. But with the government, Deputy Prime Minister, it is not so simple. What I've learned from my few years of involvement in this project is that when the government lifts its sights beyond our basic needs, when the government is determined to launch something bold and something new, it's not what we do every day. We do basic needs every day. But when the government chooses to lift its sights beyond the horizon, it is hard. It takes courage. It takes perseverance. It's awkward. It's uncomfortable. And it takes time. This administration is not the first to support Harmony Cove. My fellow directors here today are not the first board to oversee this project. The management team in place is not the first set of managers to support its execution. And I am not the first chairman of this organization, other managers, other directors, prior chairmen, they all played their part. So it takes time. But let me say this clearly. Not everyone in government is comfortable with the passage of time as a precondition for development. And I want to single out this Prime Minister because every time I've spoken to him, the conversation ends with when. And so it is with great gratitude and respect that I noted that in her first budget speech ever, on March 11th, Minister Favour Williams introduced legislative amendments which she oversaw in detail to incentivize the urgent creation of new, large-scale, pioneering industries, billion-dollar industries. And in that presentation, she specifically mentioned that one purpose of this legislation was to get Harmony Cove moving and to get it going within a framework that would be in place for other billion-dollar industries, transparently, objectively, and with purpose. In the 1 month following, April, after that speech, she introduced the legislation. And the month after that saw to its passage. And the month after that, the regulations, with the full support of the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. Ladies and gentlemen, with Tavistock and Nexus Luxury Collection, the will exists, the expertise exists, the capital exists. With our government, the framework exists. Congratulations all. Let's get to work. Thank you.
Mr. Jeffrey Hall, Chairman of Harmonization Limited. I think it was Peter Drucker who said the best way to predict the future is to create it. And this is what we're doing here today. What a wonderful beginning. Our Member of Parliament for North Trelawny is with us. I know she's particularly pleased to be here this morning. And she's going to bring a perspective from the constituency that will directly benefit from this development. So please help me to welcome Member of Parliament for Trelawny Northern, Ms. Tova Hamilton.
Good morning, everyone. I will adopt the protocols previously established, but I want to wish the Honorable, Most Honorable Prime Minister a happy birthday. Happy sweet 16, sir. You don't look a day older. What a glorious day to be in Trelawny, a parish where the waves don't merely kiss the shores, they whisper to the soul and carry the dreams of generations. Today is more than the cutting of a ribbon. It is the gentle unfolding of possibility, a bold unveiling of what happens when vision meets purpose. Harmony Cove is not just a development. It is a heartbeat that will pulse through the very ecosystem of Trelawny. This project will nourish more than the economy. It will nourish countless lives. It means jobs beyond the hotel walls, in construction and carpentry, in farming and freight, in landscaping and logistics, and the ripple industries that will grow to meet demand. It means training and upskilling of our youths. It means opportunity right here at home so that talent born in Trelawny can thrive in Trelawny. This is not just concrete and steel. This is balance. This is sustainability. This is a clear commitment to community upliftment. This is a love letter to our natural beauty and a promise to our people that progress will not come at the expense of who we are. And what better symbol of that promise than the generous gift of 25 solar streetlights Lighting up our roads, yes, but more importantly, lighting up hope. They will guide students safely home, give peace of mind to our elders, and breathe new life into spaces once cloaked in darkness. So to Mr. Peter Charrington, Mr. Jeffrey Hall, and the entire Nexus and Tavistock teams, I thank you. I thank you not just for the investment, but for your intention. Not just for what you're building, but for how you're building it. With heart, with care, and with Trelawny in mind. Your presence is not only felt, it is cherished. And the future you are helping to shape will live on in the stories, the streets, and spirit of our people. It was in September 2020 that Trelawny Northern stirred softly from her slumber, her spirit stretching towards the rhythm of renewal, her heart beating once more to the sound of promise and transformation. Let us keep shaping that Trelawny Northern, where growth cradles every community, where her natural grace is treasured, and where every resident feels the gentle warmth of progress. We are not just constructing resorts. We are weaving legacies into the very fabric of her soul, to be felt and echoed for generations to come. And so I say to every dreamer, every doer, every daughter and son of the soil, the time is now. Let's continue building together. Let's protect what is ours. Let's move with purpose, with pride, and with passion, because Trelawny Northern is no longer sleeping. She has awoken, and she needs all of us to awaken with her. Ladies and gentlemen, this is harmony in action. This is Jamaica in motion. May we never stop choosing her, loving her, and lifting her higher. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Member of Parliament for Trelawny Northern, with quite a poetic presentation this morning, urging us to move with purpose, pride, and passion. It sounds like a very powerful combination. Thank you very much as we highlight the fact that it is so good, feels good, when vision meets purpose. We have a cultural performance for you at this time. It's a very special cultural performance, and I believe Shanaira Spence is going to come at this time with her dub poetry. Clap her for me now, man. Shanaira, are you going to need a microphone? Let's have a handheld mic for her so that she can be heard.
Schoolgirl vendor day again. Me have success bag juice and brainy banana chips and a positive message to speak from my lips. Buy something from me now. On all platforms me around the idea. Me want everybody know what me stand for. Some people I get this thing twisted. You know if you walk around with a empty head. Me a sell one thing name education. For asking types, any type of woman. Get it from me small before you turn man. What the thing name? Yes, you're right. I saw you bright. Me have a message for everybody. A vision for 2030. Jamaica education can empower we. What a vision for 2030. Little boy, little girl, go to school. Go to school, go get your success tool. Little boy, little girl, go to school. Go to school, go get. Little boy, little girl, go to school. Go to school, Little boy, little girl, go a school. Go a school, go get a success. Me no have no time, fi waste no time. Me tell Satan, forget the behind. Oi. Success bag juice for the most honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Ones. Success bag juice for you, my friend. Oh no, 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 some people, them no care, we get a fat zero. Them no fear. Some say, I will be just fine. Quick money, people get that online. But better in a life, for every road, them have to beer. Some them name Pambula with fear. Who stand down, no have the same luck. Free back juice for who can read what they on my shirt. Learn to read if you want to be a doctor, electrician, or fix the Range Rover. Hook up the car by your computer, diagnose, fix problem over. It's possible to be an astronaut. Just dream big and follow your heart ambition. You better get some no, sir. In and go make your belly run. Education, make we read and write. Talk it out instead of fight. It had proper sentence. It make you intelligent. Emancipation with education. A independence with education. A celebration with education. Liberation for the nation. Listen, now, I've heard that today is your birthday. I really need the crowd to sing him a happy birthday for me, please. After 2, 1, 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. How old are you now?
16.
How old are you now? How old are you now? Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much, Shanaira Spence, with her dub poetry and making sure that we take a little time to say happy birthday to our most honorable Prime Minister. And sir, may your day bring you endless joy, incredible adventures and success in all your endeavors. God's blessings as you celebrate your birthday. And now we are going to welcome the visionary behind Nexus's global luxury developments. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Christopher Anand, CEO and Managing Partner of Nexus Luxury Collection. Put your hands together for...
Thank you. I think that's when we started this project. I'd like to adopt all prior protocols and welcome everybody here. I think I'm going to be the first person to either mess this up or get it right, which is I would like to obviously thank the Doctor, the Most Honorable Prime Minister of Jamaica. So I think I'm the first one to say that correctly. So thank you, David. Okay, so actually this is quite stunning to have the ocean behind everybody. I'd like to, I do have some prepared remarks, but I'm going to do this slightly. Listening to everybody go feels like I think we owe a little bit more than these prepared remarks. So it was 20 years ago. You know, I was a young man. I did look like that. I had no gray hair. And I was on television on CNBC with Tiger Woods and Ernie Els. And we were announcing a project in the Bahamas. And at that time, the then tourism minister and a lady that's become very important to me, both we became friends while she was in the private sector and now more recently has come into the public sector, the Minister Audrey Marks, I would like to please give her a round of applause. I hope she is here, but she's a very special lady in this journey. Anyway, we were on television, and we got a letter that basically said, would you consider coming to Jamaica? And the logic was this. Jamaica dominated the all-inclusive sector in tourism, which is, I think, is the undisputed king or queen of that segment of the hospitality business, probably globally, but certainly in the Western Hemisphere. 22,000 all-inclusive hotel rooms are here today. And whether the country needs more of that or not, I'm going to leave to the minister to figure that out. But the logic was, we were probably the best in developing things that related around golf. And golf typically attracts a wealthier type of clientele. And Jamaica had bought this property. In fact, I think I just learned today Dr. Chang bought it, I think with some money from the NHT and DBJ. And there was a vision started by a gentleman that clearly the country backed to start this project. And that is how this property was purchased by really two departments of government or closely aligned entities. And their vision was to bring in a European plan style development to the country. And so we got called. The logic was golfers will attract a different type of clientele which would complement what was going on in the country. And that is why we started to get involved. I came here, I had it wasn't a lot of fun, the drive from Kingston to Montego Bay through some interesting roads at that time. And then the North Coast Highway was being built, and my teeth kind of were chattering as we were driving over. I'd never driven on a road that was actually under construction at the same time. It was pretty amazing. And also the airport had just been redone, and we were heavily invested in the Bahamas. And I will tell you, some of my principals said to me when I first said I'm going to go to Jamaica, we've been invited by the country to look at some things. Security came up. It was a big thing, right? We're talking 2005. Is Jamaica safe, etc. And so I was like, well, listen, I've done some analysis of what has the most air routes at this time. It's only grown, courtesy of a minister. What has the most air routes directly in the English-speaking Caribbean? And it's Montego Bay and Kingston, more so than the Bahamas, even though we are, that is my home. The Bahamas is my home. And at that time, it wasn't. We had a big investment there, but I moved to live there in 2009. And the other thing that was happening was the tourism stats were growing. So I'm like, well, if it's so unsafe, people wouldn't go back there. So the headlines were not matching up with the reality, and that started this journey. And it's taken too long. I think I've been through about 5 prime ministers. I hope this is the last one for both of our sake. And I would like to wish the doctor and Prime Minister happy birthday as well. He looks good for 16. So that kind of has been it. We've been through a financial crisis. We've been through a pandemic. We've been through some indecision on both sides at different times. I will say this. I'm actually, while I'm upset it's taken this long to be here, it's not there are only a few of us that actually were here at the very beginning. I think Jeffrey, explained there's been a lot of change, whether it's been at the top of the country or down below. But Minister Marks, myself, Dr. Chang, there are a few people who really have been involved in this project from the very beginning. I'm very grateful to you for believing in us, because I know there were moments and times where people questioned our commitment. But I will say this, I'm actually glad it's taken this long, because when I see what Jamaica is today versus what it was then, we are partners in this. We are financial partners, we are strategic partners, and we're going to talk a little bit about making sure that the citizens of Jamaica have an opportunity to become a part of this journey. It's very important to us. We'll talk about that in a second. I think this is only going to be 10 times better than what it would have been on 2 levels. One is the country is in a very different place. I mean, it is now the model for fiscal responsibility. Yeah. And it is literally just ready to blast off, right? It is ready to blast off, and we're going to help lead that. This, I think, will probably be the first billion-dollar tourism project. I know in utility areas and stuff, there have been other investments, but US dollar billion phase one, I think this will be the first. I might be wrong. But we intend it to be so, and hopefully that will stimulate others. Not they get so good that they hurt us, but anyway, it will be important. So the country is ready for this moment, and if I'm being honest with you, that guy there, oh, I've gone. Okay, that good-looking guy is now replaced with this guy, and we're so much more ready, just as the country is, to do something amazing. So I can tell you whatever version of Harmony Cove would have happened, whether it was when we first started or 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, what I can tell you is it's going to be unbelievable now. And I will talk a little bit about why that's the case. Now, you might be confused. Everyone is confused because they haven't explained it well. All my predecessors here. Tavistock and Nexus, which one is it? Right? You heard, if you were listening, you've heard that two different names. So let me explain. So when we first arrived here in 2006 and this project was started, it was really myself and my benefactor, my boss is the Lewis family. They're the owners of Tottenham Hotspur, built the best football stadium in the world. Yep. And big Spurs fan. I'm an Arsenal fan, but it's okay. Okay. Yeah. Now, you may know, even though we haven't been impacting things here on the ground, the first time Tottenham ever played Jamaica, that was us that made that happen. It happened in the Bahamas. It happened several years ago. It was a bit of a boring 0-0 draw, but we managed to orchestrate a match at the end of the Premier League season where the Jamaican national team flew to the Bahamas and played the Tottenham Hotspur team. I hope that's just a sampler of things to come. In other words, we can make amazing things happen together. We actually have been doing it. We also have a golf academy that is based in the Bahamas. Some of your best junior golfers actually live in our development there. Albany, we built a school there. A member of the Issa families there, a lady called Emily Main, who's gone on to get a golf scholarship. So we have at university. So we have been trying, but it's time to do something here now. So the difference between Tavistock and Nexus is Tavistock was the first entity. At that point, Albany was not open. Albany is our flagship property in the Bahamas. To give you some idea, that property is more of a for sale kind of ice cream. This is going to be less that to begin with. This is going to be more hotel. But in the Bahamas, we've sold over $4 billion US of property. When we showed up there, an acre of beachfront property was $100,000. Today, it sold, the last acre sold for $30 million for an acre. Okay, so it was 300 times increase in the price of the property. Now, things don't go in straight lines. They hockey stick. So I can tell you, if I was to go back over that journey, so 15 years ago, this piece of land was worth $100,000 an acre, and it would have been very similar to what you would see here today. It was raw. It was kind of, not that Silver Sands is raw, but it would have been, there wasn't much development around it. It was $100,000 an acre. I would say let's say that was 2005. In 2020, that piece of property probably was worth 10 million. So pretty good. But from 2020 to 2023, it went to 30. So value gets created in strange ways, and it does take time. It does take a critical mass. It takes people like the people I'm going to share with you who are involved in this project, being involved, being behind this, exposing what we're doing on the internet, through television. Like, we're not really big on paying for advertising. There's much better ways for it. I mean, how many of you get emails from people that you don't want? Okay, everybody, right? Delete, delete, delete. Now, so the nexus part of Tavistock becomes very important. So Tavistock was what started. Today, I stand here representing Nexus. Nexus is Tavistock, but Tavistock plus Tiger Woods, Tavistock plus Justin Timberlake, Tavistock plus Ernie Els, Tavistock plus Contegral Group, Tavistock plus Will Smith. they are all partners in the Harmony Cove vision. And I will tell you, it is very much, and there are some clever people in this audience. I bet a lot of very clever people, so I'm not going to spill all our secrets because I don't want you nicking our ideas. But I will tell you there will be some very, very famous people that are very important to this country as Jamaicans becoming part of that group and us creating moments to celebrate their excellence, whether that be in music or in athletics. And we have some unbelievable things. Along with all of that, obviously, we're going to celebrate the best of Jamaica, the best coffee, the best rum. We're gonna be run. Our project is going to be run by Jamaicans. In the Bahamas, we have established a bar that is so high that you could sell a piece of raw land for $30 million. That service levels, when I first started there, everyone said you've got no chance of ever delivering the quality of service required to service customers that would spend that kind of money. Today, we have 99% Bahamian-run development. In other words, we're the highest payers in the country. We were the first ones to provide health insurance to employees. This is not about how little money we could pay somebody, because that is not how you build a relationship with somebody. It is not transactional. People don't get let go at Albany, and those are the same traits that we're going to bring here to Jamaica. It will be Jamaican-run. We will be the best payers in hospitality, because that's how you get the best staff. And also, they have a voice at all times. We actually created our own unions in the Bahamas, where basically that the departments within themselves represent themselves. They don't need to pay anybody to ever talk to the ownership. We're here. We're there. We run our properties. So we are very excited about having these other shareholders. So how would Tiger and Justin, as an example, manifest themselves in collaborating here? So Tiger and Justin both, we create these fence post events each year, always for charity. So I think we have over 4 events that raise over $1 million per event that goes to charity, oftentimes to youth. That is one of our main areas of giving. We have built a school in the Bahamas. I have no doubt we will be very involved here in those community aspects. It will be our objective to create these kind of high-profile events that end up on television. They do an unbelievable job marketing our properties, but in a very clever way where it's not look like it's paid for. Now, the other thing is, so Justin has over 100 million social media followers. Now, think about the difference between, and I'm just going to say, let's just say a Marriott or a Hyatt, great world-class hospitality organizations, but I get a lot of emails from them that I delete, and so do you, okay? However, when you sign up to get somebody's content on the internet, you are asking to be talked to. That is a very different thing than an outbound email that goes into a box, a trash box. And so the power of these celebrities and these personalities is something we have harnessed and learned how to harness. So much so we have built a music studio in the Bahamas, and I will tell you, we will be building one here, and it will be an unbelievable studio. Why that matters is the most followed people on the internet are musicians, okay? And the reason for that is because they distribute their product through the internet. Very few people distribute their product through the internet. They communicate with their customers through the internet. Software is about the only other product I can think of that you actually take it from you buy the product from the internet. And so how do musicians connect with their customers if their point of sale is the internet? That is why social media has become so important to them. So if you go and look at who have the most followers, musicians are massive, okay? And we intend to harness that by creating music festivals here, obviously with Justin Timberlake as one of our shareholders. That will be easy. Will Smith as well. But it is important to us to embrace the local community. That young lady that did that song there is a great example of what's sitting here. So part of our studio time will be allocated to local artists to be able to record and to get help. So music is very important to us. Sport is very important to us. These are both things we're going to lean into. I can't wait to create content for the cricket stadium that was built when I first arrived here. Maybe something other than cricket. Albeit you guys we're gonna do better in the next innings. Okay. Those Australians, they're buggers. Okay. So anyway, those are some of the things we've been up to, is really learning how to harness the power of what we have to bring to Jamaica. So I'll give you an example. We opened something called T squared. What's T squared? That stands for Tiger and Timberlake. So it's algebra at its highest level, okay, put into a bar. Okay, it's a joke. But anyway, so the two T's, right, now algebra, I got it, okay. So anyway, we opened this business in New York City called T squared. Today, we have over 1,200 corporate event relationships. Now, why does that matter? And this is an example. T squared wasn't open 2 years ago. That matters because one of our strategies is to bring major corporations to come to Jamaica and have corporate events here, especially in the off-peak season, right? A time like now, how could we get Pricewaterhouse or Bank of America or a famous law firm to come here and do corporate retreats? That is a massive part of our business plan. I'm telling you, there aren't many people that have 1,200 corporate relationships, and that's out of one location. We're now opening in Scotland next month. We're opening in Nashville. We're opening in Toronto. These are all very important markets and good markets for Jamaica. If I said to you Los Angeles, a little less exciting. We're not opening in Los Angeles. Our East Coast presence is very important, and Jamaica is always at the top of our mind. So to be able to leverage T squared, and by the way, Harmony Cove will have a T squared. The other thing we announced an acquisition about 2 months ago, the most exclusive private children's club in the world, based in London. It's called Purple Dragon. It will be coming to Harmony Cove. Now, the last thing I'd like to share with you is it's all, you know, I've been in the Bahamas, and sometimes things can get a little, you know, exciting between Bahamians and non-Bahamians. And I'm sure Jamaica, as a country of the most proud people, that I'm sure could exist. It is very important to understand that here we are partners with not only the country, and in fact, I think we have some retirement accounts, funds are the investor in harmonization. So this project is already going to be owned by thousands of Jamaicans. But one of the things we're committed to doing is an IPO. So an IPO is an initial public offering. So after the project gets constructed, we will allow, and we want it to be focused on Jamaican citizens, not big institutions, where they will be able to buy shares in Harmony Cove. It could be a small amount, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. But here's the other part of it. We want our best customers to be Jamaicans. We want our best shareholders to be Jamaicans. So how can you harness that in a wonderful way? So what we will be doing is creating a loyalty program that if you're a shareholder in Harmony Cove, and again, it could be as little as $1,000 US. This isn't intended to price people out. This isn't like, oh, you've got to own $1 million worth of shares to play. It could be as low as $1,000. You will get coupons to be able to use Harmony Cove. For example, it might be come for one night, get a free night stay. It's going to be things like that we want Jamaicans to feel like this is their place, both if they want to invest in it, but also a welcome to use Harmony Cove. The other thing that's obviously so apparent here is there are 22,000 all-inclusive hotel rooms. It is what it is. It's an amazing product, but it can get boring. I've done my own due diligence, and you know, in the grill, I went and stayed one day, and I went and stayed at a couple's. Amazing. It was $800, by the way, a night. I was like, that's pretty strong for I thought all-inclusives were meant to be cheap. It wasn't cheap, you know, it was interesting. I'm there. There was an interesting beach experience next to it, which you guys might know what I'm talking about. Anyway. So I'm like, okay, well, cool. I'm not really here to eat and drink all I can for free, so I'm really going to go and experience things. So we went down the beach, eat at one location. Everybody from my hotel's eating there. Well, that's interesting. They've got everything bought and paid for just right here, but they're here clearly spending money. This isn't part of the all-inclusive deal. Then the real litmus test was I got a Rick's Cafe, okay? That's a $20 taxi drive. You wouldn't pay that, but I got to pay that. It was a $20 cab ride, and half the place were the people staying in my hotel. And it's $20 there, and it's $20 back, and I'm watching guys dive off a cliff that I almost had a heart attack. And I was like, this is incredible. The point is, I think there is a comfort when people come and stay at all-inclusive hotels that says, you know what, I'm going to have a great holiday. I don't need to worry about anything. But it's just the beginning of their journey here. And the average length of stay here is 8.8 days. You cannot tell me that they don't want to do something else in that 8.8 days. And we are going to create an amazing, welcoming place for those tourists to come and enjoy while still being big customers of the all-inclusive hotel segment. And our job is going to be to welcome those people as much as we welcome our hotel guests. So there will be day lockers there. There are going to be the most incredible things for these folks to do that will also strengthen and complement what's here. We're not here to screw things up. We're here to actually make things better. I think we'll bring a new group of tourists to the country, and I think we're going to strengthen the existing tourism product, and I hope we're going to make this a great place for Jamaicans to enjoy. And with that, I thank you. I can't wait to break ground. It'll be in Q1, and we have a little video here. I couldn't do the accent, the voiceover. It's too cool, and I hope you can hear it. Thank you very much.
Welcome to Harmony Cove, a slice of heaven where the Caribbean Sea meets a landscape that's just ripe with possibility. Listen me, this place is special. Over 2,300 acres. This remarkable property stretches from the northern coastal highway to these breathtaking shores. See how we're surrounded by nature. This is truly a natural sanctuary, soon to blossom into a world-class luxury resort on Tiger Woods Golf Course. This is where a vision for unmatched hospitality and recreation will take root. People, Harmony Cove are not just one development. Harmony Cove is a commitment. A commitment to growth, to community, to the future of Jamaica. We are standing where Jamaica's natural beauty and grand vision come together. So watch this space. This is only the beginning. Harmony Cove, Jamaica's next iconic destination.
Yes, indeed. We look forward to amazing. It's just the beginning. Thank you very much, Mr. Christopher Anand, for taking us through quite a bit of information and giving us a peek into what to expect. I think I sensed some extra excitement when you spoke about the initial public offering that is somewhere in the making so that the average person can buy in and really feel a part of this development and take ownership in a very tangible way. So we look forward to amazing. And I know I have an amazing minister who is going to be coming next. And so let me invite the Honorable Edmund Bartlett. He has led Jamaica's remarkable tourism growth over the past decade. And let us welcome him to the podium at this time. Honorable Edmund Bartlett.
Thank you very much. Marlene, our Master of Ceremonies for everything touristic these days. Anywhere you go, there is going to be Marlene. And we have a little thing going. She started with me in my first iteration as minister in 2007. And then she stayed around during my sabbatical, you know, in that 4-year interregnum. And she came back in 2016. And then we started something called Spruce Up Jamaica. And she was the first director of Spruce Up Jamaica. Spruce Up Jamaica, nice up the place. That was the whole idea. And since then, she's gotten very literary, and you know, she's writing books and all that now. And she even creates characters. And some people think that the character of Sprucey and Limey represents two people. And I insist I'm Sprucey. But she really has been a part also of the media landscape and has done marvelous work in training and building capacity in tourism, particularly for the young students in high schools and primary schools and even prep schools who participate in quizzes from time to time on television regarding tourism knowledge and information. So I just wanted to contextualize her So you don't just see her as an MC per se, because Marlene is much more than that for us in tourism. Our Prime Minister, the most honorable Dr. Andrew Holness. You got it right there, Chris, almost. I have to begin by joining the rest of us and to give you now a very special tourism happy birthday. We say it in a special way in tourism, you see. So we borrowed a line that I think Jeffrey did. He didn't do as well because the language was a little different. There was a slightly different nuance there, you know. We say happy birthday to you. Say one more year, pandem. You know, it just sounded different, pandem. Yeah. So we want to welcome our Prime Minister to this area and to venerate his arrival on cosmic Earth. And yes, it's 16 years ago. And does it look like 16? Perhaps not, but 16 years ago. Great Prime Minister, thank you so much for all that you have been doing for Jamaica. My distinguished colleagues who are here, and some thought that this might be a cabinet subcommittee that was planned for today. But I'm so very happy to have you with me, and a former minister who is representing the leader of the opposition, Dr. Wickham McNeil, and the former opposition spokesperson on tourism, Senator Allen, and the full array of very distinguished individuals who are with us. I want to greet you very specially. And they tell me every time that if I get a crowd that is not distinguished, then they'll be extinguished. So we have it all. Today, then, is a truly exciting moment for Jamaica's tourism industry and our nation as a whole, as we stage the symbolic ribbon cutting for the long-awaited Harmony Cove Hotel right here in beautiful Trelawny. The ceremonial events marks the culmination of years of meticulous planning. It represents the planting of seeds that will grow into a transformative addition to our tourism landscape, creating ripples throughout our country. In addition, this development represents a powerful partnership between the private sector investment leader, Tavistock, and now Tavistock Nexus Group, and the Jamaica government's Harmonization Limited. As we stand on this promising ground today, I'm filled with immense pride and optimism about what this partnership signifies for our nation's economic development. Together, we're building something that will elevate Jamaica's tourism product and profoundly impact the lives and prosperity of thousands of Jamaicans and local businesses. Moreover, this Harmony Cove development stands as a powerful testament to the unwavering confidence that investors have in Jamaica's tourism industry and the overall economic climate. I think you heard it at least twice already since morning. In a global marketplace where investment capital can flow anywhere, the decision of the Tavistock Nexus Group to commit substantial resources to this project speaks volumes about Jamaica's reputation as a premier investment destination. This vote of confidence is not by accident. It is the result of the government's steadfast commitment to creating a business-friendly environment, maintaining economic stability, and fostering public-private partnerships that benefit all stakeholders. Jamaica offers not just breathtaking natural beauty, but also the policy framework, infrastructure, and human capital necessary for tourism ventures to thrive. And I just want to say that this $1 billion integrated resort project is $1 billion US integrated resort project is set to transform this 2,300 acres of Trelawny's stunning coastline into a world-class destination. And you've heard so much of it a while ago from Chris that it need not be re-emphasized by me at this moment, except for me to say to Chris and the team that your decision to invest in Jamaica at this time is well thought through, well-founded, and will be very, very productive. And I want to say that because we have done our work. we are creating the infrastructure that is enabling that sort of pivot now from the all-inclusive discussion that you brought up earlier to another dimension of tourism, luxury tourism. And this ribbon cutting represents the start of a series of such events over the next few weeks into months, as we have a number, Chris, of other $1 billion US. So see how infectious Harmony Cove's 1 billion is. It brings other $1 billion investment. And we have them all around you. We're going to have them in Montego Bay. I mean, in addition to Pinnacle, that is there already. We're going to have them in St. Anne and Runaway Bay next to you down the road. We're going to have them in Westmoreland also, in Paradise, and all across Jamaica over the next few months as we move into phase 3 of the development process. You will be seeing multi-billion-dollar investments in tourism. So that investment calls for certain critical supply arrangements. And so our policy determination is going to drive a greater sense of local involvement in the supply chain in tourism. And already our Prime Minister has given us instructions that we're following to ensure that the arrangements are put in place for long-term investment activities buttressed by long-term contracts with local suppliers to enable them to build capacity and to scale up their own arrangements to supply against the enormous demand that tourism brings. But perhaps, Chris, what you need to hear most from me is not just the fact that we have today the strongest airlift arrangements in the entire Caribbean and arguably Latin America. Today, Jamaica is connected to every single island of the Caribbean, every single island. We have 8 airlines that connects every single island in the Caribbean. And it puts us in a great position to be the hub for the big ones that I'm talking to, the Emirates and the Etihads and all those powerful GCC country airlines that are moving hundreds at a time, not thousands, but 3,000 and 4,000 moving on a weekly basis into our space. And that enables a different type of demographic to come into our space, a demographic that aligns with your investment proposal here at Harmony Cove. So bring the T-square and all the squares that you want. We have the capacity to enable them to make money and to leave wealth behind in Jamaica. In closing, I want to indicate that the human capital development strategies that we are pursuing are tailored now for the luxury pivot. Tomorrow, I inaugurate the first gastronomy academy in Jamaica for workers of tourism. Today, the first cohort of executive sous chefs are being trained at Oyster Bay Group of Excellence, just a few minutes away from here. And Jamaica is positioning itself to enable a greater level of skill that the industry requires. So the call for other support will be less because we are training more of our locals to embrace these new areas of tourism. The issue of AI and its impact on tourism is something which we're very careful about, and we're driving that. Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation, we established 5 years ago for that simple purpose. And we have 2 key areas, Prime Minister, which you will allow me to just mention. And that is, we're training through high schools. We have a cohort of students in 33 high schools across Jamaica that are being trained for certification in tourism, hotel and tourism management, and they graduate with an associate degree in hotel management and tourism. Secondly, we have a program with the American Hotel and Lodging Education Institute and the American Culinary Foundation to certify competent workers in the industry, persons who are fabulous workers, well-trained in a certain area, very competent but not certified. And so we have moved in and have certified 20,000 of such workers already. And finally, we are looking at building out the social infrastructure for the workers. And I indicated to you that I'm pleased with the comments that you made earlier about what Harmony Cove portends for tourism in Jamaica. But I'm particularly impressed with the ESG component of your presentation. So we want you to continue to go along that line, because every investor coming to Jamaica now is participating with that. We're building houses for the tourism workers. We're participating in the historic workers' pension program. And most importantly, as I close, my Prime Minister charged me in dealing with the housing arrangement for tourism workers to partner with the social housing program, which he has inaugurated. And we have $500 million Jamaican earmarked for that. And in the next 2 days, we will be rolling out that program primarily for who we call the augmented tourism worker. That is, those who now are 59 years old and will retire in 6 years on the contribution now to their pension. And we are saying that in addition to providing for you a pension that is as good as if you had started contributing at age 18 when you started working, you will now also have an opportunity for social housing where you have a problem. And we want all our partners to buy into this, because we see the future bright for tourism, but the workers must never be left behind. Thank you very much for the confidence, and we assure you that that confidence is well placed, and we will provide the returns in the measure that you require. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Bartlett. And there are a few persons that I would like to acknowledge before we get to our next presenter. And two of them are the Honorable Darrell Vaz and Honorable Delroy Chuck, who I'm told have been steadfast supporters of this project from the get-go. So give them a round of applause for me, please. Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, I'm told you first identified this land and you took it to, was it Dr. Kingsley Thomas from the NHT who bought the land, and that is how we are here, part of why we're here today and how we're here today. So let me have a round of applause for Dr. Horace Chang. And of course, the Honorable Obin Hill, who served as chairman of Harmonization Limited and is here with us today, again endorsing and showing his support. Please, a round of applause for him. Do we have any representatives from the NHT here with us? Would you please stand? Yes, we have one person in the back, one person here. From the Development Bank of Jamaica? Anyone from DBJ? Yes, okay. Well, we want to also acknowledge you, part of Harmonize there from the beginning. And of course, NCB being the financial partner of Harmonization. Do we have any representatives from the National Commercial Bank here? Ah, they're right down front. Please, a round of applause for them. Staying the course. And of course, making sure that we get things off to a great start. Please now welcome the Honorable Favour Williams, Minister of Finance and the Public Service, our first female Minister of Finance. She comes to share brief remarks on the economic significance of this project. Make her welcome.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me say I accept the protocols established, but of course, I must acknowledge our Prime Minister. Happy birthday, sir. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Thank you, Tavistock and Nexus, for choosing Jamaica. I heard two commitments today that are music to me. And the first is that Harmony Cove is committed to growth. And the second is the commitment to listing on our local stock market. And I love both of those commitments. And I want to say that anything that I can do to actualize that listing, I am ready. It is both a joy and a privilege to join you today. This official ribbon-cutting ceremony for the long-awaited Harmony Cove development. 20 years in the making, you would have heard. And one thing that I have to say is I am happy to be part of the 20th year. This is a moment of national pride as it heralds not only the launch of a luxury resort, but is also a landmark moment in Jamaica's journey of transformation to the US $1 billion or greater industries. We all stand here today at the site of a dream conceived nearly 2 decades ago and carried forward through partnerships. I acknowledge Harmony Cove as a testament to what we can achieve. As you know, Harmonization Limited is a joint venture between the Government of Jamaica and international partners. It was created under the Ministry of Finance with a clear mandate to drive high-impact, sustainable development across Jamaica's tourism and hospitality industries. Since then, it has widened to other industries, Minister Bartlett. That has remained consistent, and today we celebrate the fact that the vision has not only endured, but is finally taking root right here in Trelawny. As Minister for the Ministry with oversight of Harmonization Limited, I'm proud of the work that has been done to ensure that this project is executed with fiscal responsibility, strategic alignment, and the kind of private sector engagement that delivers real value to the people of Jamaica. So together, this administration advanced the necessary frameworks, cleared the hurdles, and brought this project to the implementation stage. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that delivery matters. We know too that impact is critical, and we can look forward to thousands of direct and indirect jobs in construction, tourism, logistics, and agriculture, new infrastructure and services in Trelawny and surrounding areas, continued confidence in Jamaica as an investment destination anchored by sound economic management and policy stability. And most importantly, a signal to our people that visionary projects can and will come to life with the right leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamaica's economy is stronger than it has been in decades. We have lowered our debt to GDP to 68.7% at the end of fiscal 24-25, and our goal remains 60% by fiscal 27-28. You would have seen it, the government's inflation targeting policy to maintain core inflation in the 4 to 6% range, which is implemented through the Bank of Jamaica, has stabilized inflation. And recently, Statin reported that the point-to-point inflation in June 2025 was 3.8%. That's a decrease compared to the 5.2 recorded in May 2025. We have grown employment Yes, Jeffrey. I thought that when we reached 3.7% unemployment rate, that was the low. No, the recent unemployment rate was even lower at 3.3%. Prime Minister, I have to say 24,200 more persons are employed. But what needs to be told is that 11,400 of that 24,200 came from outside the labor force, which means they were on the sidelines, not looking for a job. And I can declare that the job opportunity was so compelling that they came off the sidelines and are now part of the employed labor force. And that says a lot about what's happening in Jamaica right now. We know that joining the labor force is crucial for economic growth, personal development, and financial stability of households. And Harmony Cove brings even more employment to Jamaica. So undoubtedly, this project signals confidence in Jamaica. And yes, it is part of our economic achievements on which we can lean. This project this morning, I believe, sends a clear message to the world that Jamaica is open for investments, anchored by strong macroeconomic foundations, and a government that understands the power of vision, discipline, and partnership. But to our very own Jamaicans, we know that true prosperity must reach people where they live, and that is why projects like Harmony Cove Development matter. They turn policy into possibility. They transform blueprints into livelihoods. They prove that when we stay the course, Jamaica moves ahead sustainably and with momentum. So it's only fitting for us to celebrate what has been built and what it represents, and that is a Jamaica that believes in itself, a Jamaica that is building boldly, and a Jamaica that continues to flourish. To all who have worked tirelessly to bring us to this day, from the visionaries and investors to the contractors, planners, and government teams, I extend my profound gratitude to you and to the people of Jamaica. Let this be a sign that our best days yet are ahead of us, even ahead of us. Thank you, and may God bless Jamaica, land we love.
Minister Favour Williams. Now, just before we hear from the Most Honourable Prime Minister, I'd just like to recognize some other players, because we know we're talking about partnerships and collaboration. And we have with us the chairman of the Casino Gaming Commission, Mr. Clovis Metcalf. Mr. Metcalf, will you stand and be acknowledged? Also, I think along with him is Mr. Cleveland Allen, Executive Director of the Casino Gaming Commission. Thank you for joining us, sir. Mr. Leonard Francis is the CEO of the National Environment Protection Agency, NEPA. He's in the back. Please acknowledge him. And there are two other ladies, I believe, that are with us. Executive Director of Harmonization, Ms. Deborah Newland, and, yes, and Dr. Lorna Simmons, who's a former Executive Director of Harmonization. And we do have members of the board of Harmonization here with us this afternoon, and I'd just like to invite you to stand and be acknowledged. And look at that, among them, my permanent secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Ms. Jennifer Griffith. Great to see you, PS. All right, it is now my honor to welcome the keynote speaker for today's ceremony, the Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. And thank you for the wonderful birthday greetings. Yes, one more year upon them. Yes, and of course, that as well. There are so many distinguished persons here that it is sufficient to say, good afternoon, nice and decent people. That's sufficient coverage for everyone without getting me into trouble for not acknowledging anyone specifically. Horace told me a tale, that is my Deputy Prime Minister, that he was so stressed as a member of Parliament that he was seeking a place for some relaxation, and he went to visit a friend who had a property across the road. And that friend pointed him to a very secluded beach that he could go and clear his mind. And whilst there, he looked at the place and said, wow, what a paradise, untouched, unspoiled. This would be a great place for a development. And as he is a visionary himself, he foresaw what could be, and he got in touch with Kingsley Thomas, another visionary. At that time, I believe Kingsley was either the chairman of NHT or had something to do with NHT and DBJ. And the government of the day, under Prime Minister Patterson, decided to purchase the property. And they got the property for a fairly good deal. I won't say what the price, but it was a fairly good deal. And I see some people nodding their heads, and they knew what the price was. I'm not going to go into any history of what the price was, but the government got the property. And in a way, it was important that the property was purchased. The property was owned by an established English family, British family. So the property obviously passed through the colonial era. And so it was repatriated, essentially, the ownership of the property. And therefore, the seed was planted as to what this property could be. And let me read something to you here. Dear proponents, the Harmony Cove will be the most exclusive colony that the Caribbean has ever known. At this exquisite oasis, guests and residents will discover an array of estate villas, elegant homes, impeccably appointed townhouses, fine resort accommodations, and charming boutique hotels. Here, guests, every whim and fancy will be catered to, and every heart's desire fulfilled. This magnificent community has been inspired by Jamaica's defining characteristics, a rich cultural heritage, an incomparable geographical landscape, and an exciting and colorful history. The selection process will demonstrate the required integrity, fairness, and transparency for the identification and selection of developers. The successful proponent will be the one whose proposal best fulfills the project's vision and who has the requisite experience and financial strength to translate this vision into reality. Join us in realizing the dream of Harmony Cove, a unique AAA 5-diamond prestigious destination. We therefore invite you to accept the challenge and grasp the opportunity of realizing this vision. This was the cover letter in the request for proposals document developed in October 2004. And this was signed Kingsley Thomas, chairman of the Harmonization Limited. I have a copy of the original request for proposal document. So I consider this a birthday gift. So it's you know, almost 21 years, more than 21 years in the making, from the conception of the idea to the launch of the project officially today. Now, I came into this in 2016, and I took a flight to the Bahamas at the invitation of Chris Anand, Nexus, and his team to see what was happening with the project on which this would be modeled. It was really an attempt to get this administration interested in the project and to show that Nexus was still very much interested in doing the project and to win our confidence. Now, this project meandered for many years. So Prime Minister Patterson would have announced it in 2004. Then there would have been other events supporting it. Prime Minister Golding supported it. In fact, wrote a letter committing the government to the fiscal support of the project. Then came the destruction caused by the global financial recession of 2008, 2009, that knocked the project off kilter. Then elections, then, you know, other commitments then by the former Minister of Finance, Peter Phillips, endorsing the original fiscal support that was given. But the project just couldn't seem to get off the ground. So in 2016, when the invitation was extended, I visited. I took a team with me. I believe I would have taken former Minister of Finance, Nigel Clark. I believe Aubin Hill may have accompanied me. And it's really good to visualize, to see the physical representation of what the vision could be. And then I had certain thoughts about Chris. My thoughts about him are different now. And I'm sure those who knew Chris then would say Chris has mellowed now. So I've always seen myself as the builder. I like to build things. So I like to be kinetically involved in getting things done. Yeah, I'm a dreamer. I have visions too. And they are very important. But the critical thing at the end of the day is, did you get it done? That's what really, 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 really matters. And so I came back, I took advice on the project. Now, a project of this magnitude, for everyone who is gathered here, just to be clear, there are many risks involved in a project like this. Many. And governments have to be super careful. You cannot look at projects simply in a nominal way. You can't just look at the numbers presented to you and say, oh, this looks good. Right? Governments are not only concerned about the bottom line or the profitability. Right? There are many other issues that would determine whether or not a project is successful. And governments that are in the position that Jamaica finds itself in is oftentimes forced, I use that words in quotation mark, to make decisions on projects that sound good on paper, but when they are implemented, they create all kinds of challenges and problems. I have decided that for Jamaica, we are going to be, first of all, very cautious in the investments that we undertake. But whatever investment we undertake, it must be for the benefit of the people of Jamaica. So I'm looking here at a very distinguished audience, but I'm really speaking to the people in the Coronation Market, or in the Trelawny Market in Duncans, or in Stewart Town, or Wakefield, or Clarkstown. This project is for you. You will benefit from this project. The entire Jamaica will benefit from this project. And I also say that the investors will make a profit from this project as well. This administration is pro the benefit of the people. We are not anti-profit. We don't see the two things as opposing. We want projects to be profitable, because it is only when the projects are profitable that the people can have sustainable benefits. And that is the intersection that we try to achieve in this project. So the project laid fallow for maybe 11 years before I took it over. And the big question for us was, could we give the level of fiscal incentives that were originally promised? I use this big word fiscal, and we use it all the time, and I'm really trying to find a way how to explain this to the vendor in the Coronation Market or in Duncans Market. What do we mean when we say fiscal? Right? I'm not going to try to do it today, but suffice to say that the government did not give up more than it had to for this project to be considered feasible. The public purse was not sacrificed to make this project profitable. That's the best way to explain it. The people of Jamaica are going to get from this project significant benefits, and in fact, more benefits than what we would have had to give as incentives. And I want to say this because we are in a particular season, and there is a particular attempt, which is believed even by intelligent people, that the economic performance of this administration does not matter, that good governance does not matter. Let me tell you something. I used the term earlier. Governments in our position are sometimes forced to make decisions that they end up regretting. When your debt is 150% of GDP and you get a $1 billion project, you're going to give as much incentives as you can. In fact, sometimes you give away not just the house, you give the kitchen sink and the doghouse and everything with it. Just to secure the project, because it is a promise that I could reduce this massive debt. When your unemployment rate is 13%, and you get a project that says it's $1 billion, 1,000 rooms, 3,000 persons are going to be employed, you really don't care what the long-term impacts are. You want to get those jobs in now. Can you see what poor economic outturns can do to governments in making investment decisions? This government did not do that. We had, and Chris will tell you, a book really should be written about this. You know, a book just about this alone. I say David Panton, who's an author himself, he's smiling because he knows. A book really should be written on this. In fact, case studies should be done on this too in schools of government. Dissertations ought to be done on this. We engaged in very detailed negotiations that sometimes got very testy. Because there was a lot at stake, mind you, on both sides. And it's important to say that it is good to have persons in government who understand business as well as government. So we understood the risks of our business partners, and we were able to explain to them the risks to our public purse, the political risks, the environmental risks, the social risks, the climate change risks, the infrastructure risks. And it was a long debate. Our partners, Nexus, you know, they actually put in money and purchased additional lands to bring this up to over 2,000 acres of land, flat land that could give the project much more viability. And it has pineapples in it. They stayed the course. There were costs involved to keep this project going. They bore some of that. So we were literally joined at the hip. But the question is, you know, for us to consummate the union, we have to sign the prenuptial. So everything is clear.
You're a good negotiator.
And it took some time. So we negotiated, you know, Minister Clark and the team from the Ministry of Finance, former Minister Clark, they deserve some commendation. I will take some of the shine off that and say, it took too long. You know, I got many calls of frustration, you know, including, you know, we've gotten an investor now, and if we don't sign now, the investor is going to leave. We understand. We understand. So, anyway, we eventually settled the tax issues and the other incentives, and we're here today with a very solid agreement that will form the corners within which this investment will operate. There is a lesson to be learned, that to attract investments, you must create incentives for investment. But if you have to give incentives for the investment to be profitable, you're going to be stuck eventually paying for that investment. That needs to be said and understood. The notion of incentives attracting investments, if not properly managed, can end up being the government paying for the investment. And so we are very careful not to be caught in that trap. That's bad fiscal management. How do you attract investment then, if incentives are not the primary source of attraction? Chris, you said it. You came to Jamaica and you saw that Jamaica has the most routes, flights coming in, most seats coming in. Even though they badmouth us about crime and violence, we still have more people coming here and increasing year after year after year. You left your all-inclusive and went to Rick's Cafe and you caught the vibe. You almost jumped off the cliff. What I'm saying to you is that and particularly for tourism investment, the lifestyle, the brand, the culture are incentives for people to invest. And Jamaica has that more than any other destination in the region. We must protect it. The challenge that we face is to make the person in the Duncans market understand that brand Jamaica delivers value for them as it will deliver value for Harmony Cove. So when someone does something that reflects badly on Jamaica, it impacts them as well as Harmony Cove. Our brand is in the top 5 most recognized brands in the world. We should be getting much more from that. Other people have recognized that. I've seen a tin of ackee with the Jamaican flag, and when I looked at it, it said, "Made in Barbados." That's a brand. And just so that, because I'm not speaking to this audience, I'm speaking to the people in Clarkstown. If your relative overseas goes in a supermarket in New York, let's say, and they wanted to purchase, let's say, canned pineapples, and on that shelf, there are literally hundreds of options. And as they walk past the options and they see one with the Jamaican flag, which one you think they're going to take? The one with the Jamaican flag. And if a tourist came here and dived off the cliff at West End in Negril and lived and went into that same supermarket looking for canned pineapples, and they come across the one with the Jamaican flag on it, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to purchase it. But if there should be something coming up in a newspaper somewhere, 8 persons killed in a gang dispute in Jamaica, what do you think is going to likely to happen? Our Jamaicans may still go and purchase it. But it is quite likely, psychologically, in the back of the mind of that person who had the experience in Jamaica, weighing, I had a good time, but this violence. They may pass it, and that's one sale less. And what does that one sale less translate to? It could be the very pineapple that you grew here in Jamaica, which was processed and exported. The brand is valuable. That is why Tavistock and Nexus are here, to leverage the brand, to position their product, to bring people here. Don't destroy our brand with violence and un-Jamaican behavior. So, brand is an important asset in attracting investments in the country. Good fiscal management of the economy is an important incentive in itself for attracting investment. You see all these hard negotiations that we have done with Chris and his team? They know from that this government is not going to undertake nonsense policies to put their investments at risk. They know that now. They know that we are strong on tax policy and we are not going to willy-nilly change tax policy on them. They know that when they lay out their next 20-year plan, they know what the tax levels are going to be with very strong certainty. We have given investors certainty. They see how we have managed our debt. And they now recognize that this is not just a place to exploit brand and exploit good government, not in a bad term, not in a bad way when we use the word exploit. I could use another term, which is just to use, to make use of. And that's what we want business people to do. We want them to make use of the brand, make use of good governance. But this is also a place where my capital can stay. Because that is the secret to growth and development. We want to make Jamaica a place where capital can stay. And I want you to think about this. Jamaica is the only country in the region that has no capital or foreign exchange controls. Think about that. Counterintuitive is that, well, if you don't have foreign exchange controls and you don't have capital controls, then Tavistock and all of them are going to take out their money. But think of it in the reverse. If I know I can take out my money whenever I want, and the government is going to do well, and the brand is good, and my product is going to grow, what am I going to do? Why move my money? I'm going to keep it right here. And that is exactly what this administration has done. Now, it's just for me to get the person who is selling in the market or working in the call center to appreciate and understand the importance of that. That didn't happen overnight. That is a deliberate strategy of this administration, because the reverse policies could have been true. You have ever wondered why our NIR is at the highest it has ever been in our history? In our history. But yet, we have no foreign exchange controls. We have a freely floating foreign exchange. Yeah, it's because we have given confidence to investors to keep their money here. So you have come at the right time, Tavistock. You have come at the right time, Nexus. So, I'm not here to deliver an economics lecture, but to just make some point. The other point I would like to make on this particular investment is that we have considered very carefully the environmental and social impacts of the development. We are going to be giving up probably the last pristine beachfront asset of this size for development, and therefore we have to be super careful what is being done here. And a lot can be done here. So we will be in close partnership with you to ensure that not just the financial interests, but the social, cultural, and economic interests are maintained. Now, for the developments that are happening in tourism, we have articulated a new policy direction, and in our upcoming manifesto, you will see more of it, that the history of tourism development in Jamaica is that we built the hotels and then the people came. And the people had to find their way. And so what you have is a juxtaposition of salubrious circumstances, and right next door, it is despair. It runs in contradiction with the brand and the message. And if we're going to fully have the benefit of the brand, we can't build, triple A, what was the other term used? 5-star, diamond star, hotels, and then right next door, it's abject poverty. That cannot happen again. So if you notice, all the hotels that are being built now, new ones, they have to be putting up staff quarters or staff housing, right? And that's a must. And I've said it to Chris right here, and I'm saying to you, Chris, it is important for your bottom line and for the brand, it's important for the government, that the staff here must be able to see their way to proper housing. So there would be provisions for housing. Now you have enough land, and the concept is a community. And so I would expect that there would be an inclusive approach with the people who live in the area and who will come about what this product is going to be. Because ultimately the product is the people. Then we have also said that for our economy to grow, we need to increase the complexity of the economy. And complexity is a kind of new way of looking at growth. It's not just about increasing production and so forth. It's about how do we make the industries come together to increase your production. So linkages is important. And unfortunately, tourism has grown in an all-exclusive way almost. In the last decade or so, we have increased the lines of linkages, particularly with agriculture and some manufacturing and entertainment. It is not as strong as we would like. In our upcoming manifesto, you will see how we intend to improve the linkages with tourism. We have complaints about linkages with entertainment. Many of our entertainers feel that their product is being devalued and they're not getting the full support of the tourism industry. The product that we offer must be diverse. So we're going to have entertainers from Cuba and the Dominican Republic because guests want variety. But the core must be the Jamaican culture. And it must be supported. And where there are shortcomings, we must work to develop them. So I'm saying to you, Chris, that studio is a good idea.
There's no shortage of talent here.
Yes, so let's give them the assets to develop it. Right? They must never feel that, they don't have a guaranteed place here. Our manufacturers have also complained, the beds, the chairs, the sheets, the this, the that. We understand we won't be able to produce everything. But, we need to give them the line, give them long-term contracts so that they can invest, and eventually they will build. We intend to have some discussions with you on how we're going to ensure that our manufacturers are keyed in to this development. But the big one is agriculture. There is no question in my mind that we have the capacity to supply most of what you need. We already supply quite and I'm proud to say that in terms of chicken meat, we have the capabilities to supply that, and we have been doing well with that. But in most other things, we can. but we need the tourism industry to provide our farmers with long-term supply contracts so that they have the certainty in making the level of investment to move from artisanal farmers and small farmers to commercial and industrial level agriculture. And that is what I would want to see in this project. And I will be personally picking up the phone and calling you, Chris, to say, how are we progressing with the linkages between the community agriculture in this area and what gets served on the plates here?
It's mutually beneficial.
Very much so, mutually beneficial. So this project must result not just in the growth of the bottom line of the developers, but it must result in the growth of our GDP and in the growth of the households that are connected to it. That is the objective. So, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me absolutely exquisite, great pleasure to be able to be the Prime Minister, to get this project done. Now, I came here expecting a groundbreaking. But I guess you're following what's happening, you know, on the political scene. So, cut it. Yes, I'm here to cut it. More ribbons. God bless you. Thank you.
Rather than go to the symbolic ribbon cutting and then have our closing remarks, we're going to go to our closing remarks, and then we'll invite the Prime Minister and a number of other representatives to join him for the symbolic ribbon cutting. So, Mr. Charrington, please come back to the lectern. Our chairman of Harmony Cove Limited, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister, Minister Bartlett, Minister Williams, Tova, CA, to all of our speakers and performers, to the young lady, a wonderful, wonderful job. We're going to cut a ribbon, but over the next few years, I very much hope we're going to build, as the Prime Minister said and the CA said, a legacy that we can all be very proud of. Nexus is here for the long term. This is a multi-phase, multi-year commitment to building value, community and prosperity for Trelawny and for Jamaica. This is not just a harmonization project. It is a Jamaican project, as the Prime Minister said, powered by Jamaican talent, guided by Jamaican values, and built amongst Jamaica's natural beauty. We look forward to working together with the government, with the private sector, community and citizens, Tova, with you and your community, playing our part to bring Harmony Cove to life and to show the world that Jamaica is indeed, Mr. Prime Minister, thriving. Thank you for being with us, and we are now going to cut our ribbon, sir, I think.
And our Deputy Prime Minister, Honourable Dr. Horace Chang. Please join the Prime Minister for the ribbon cutting, and of course, we invite our guests.
There you go.
You know what? Let's switch it around. Go back to what you said.
3.
Cut it!
Find that moment of peace.
I think that's a word.
Jenna, girl.
Can I just have him and Miss Unknown standing right here?
Well, no, the only piece of it, we're going to then pair them up with an international project, which they'll love because it'll be the first major cross capital market.
And how soon you think of that?
what I want to do is start
And then show the value first.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Yeah.
If it looks like we don't need the IPO's money,
Right.
it's more the opportunity to become a part. So I think probably a year after we start is when you, because you want maximum excitement.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay, we'll just want to get out. Right here.
Get you in.
Wait, can you come down? We need to interview.
All the way back. All the way back, please. And to the side. All the way back to the side.
Stop.
Side.
Stop.
On the side, so sideways.
All right.
Sideways, look. We look better that way.
So
Sorry.
maybe
Stand on. Everybody look forward.
Right here we go. All right, folks, looking this way, right here. 1, 2.
Harmonization team.
Here we go.
Yes, please.
And camera, thank you very much.
Thank you. Can we now have the harmonization team with PM, please? Just the harmonization team and PM, and then we might need to say right here.
I'm not sure what that is. Hold on.
Clear the background. Hold on a second. Where are they? Get a top camera. All right, very good. Nexus team. They're coming. All right. PM, sorry, please don't move. Nexus and yes.
Someone's definitely having a drink.
All right, here we go.
Yes? Well?
There's the tea.
Sorry. Can we do one last one with NHD, DBJ, and yes, please?
I have a good feeling.
Talk to each other. DBJ.
God.
Where's the NHD?
Where's the NHD?
I think Linval is here.
Linval.
Where's Linval?
Let me get here.
Man for speed.
You want me up there?
And then that's it.
Come on this side.
Come over there.
Yeah, I think this guy's.
All right, could we just have everybody just one step here?
Yes.
All right.
Wonderful. Everybody's good? Good. Thank you, everybody.